April began with April Fool's Day. Now, I started this last year and I've continued it. I decided to invent three completely fake and invented books and tweeted them, and people loved it. So I did it again this year and it was wonderful. Three magical invented books that we all really, really need. And if you rush to Twitter and look up my tweets for the 1st of April, you'll see what they are. But I enjoyed doing that. That was nice. Spontaneous, silly creativity just for the fun of it. The Clevedon Literary Festival is coming up. That's in June. So at the beginning of April, I was organising what I was going to do, which is sell books and also give a talk. So I'll be going down to Clevedon on the 11th of June and we'll be there all day. And it will be nice. It will be by the seaside. It's in Somerset. It's about an hour and a bit's drive from where I live, and it'll be a nice day out. And quite hard work, I hope, selling an absolute shed load of books. This is what we want. So all month I have been editing T.H. White, which is the biography of the great author T.H. White by Sylvia Townsend Warner. First came out in 1967 and we're publishing it in January next year. The introduction's been written and I am not so much editing it as checking the layout and also looking at all the complicated words and writing notes for them, getting our social media Instagram editor Emer to translate the Latin and the Greek for me, because there's a lot of that, and she's a classic student, and just generally just making the notes perfect, but it takes a long time. It's one of these very dense books. Rose Macaulay's Personal Pleasures was like that. It took forever. And there are so many notes, but they're so important because it's just a fabulous, fabulous biography and there's so much to find out. It's just so many things to annotate as well, so that's taking forever. Amazon, oh heavens, Amazon. The Amazon algorithm is giving us dreadful time this month and also last month. This is a continuing story. So the current one is a book we published in 2018, a long time ago. We have the UK rights, and the original American publisher has the US and the rest of the world rights, and that's absolutely fine. It's the only book that we've ever done that for. So there are two editions on the market with different covers, really quite different, but they share a similar element. But obviously the title is the same as Nicola Griffith's novel, So Lucky. Trouble is, Amazon can't tell the difference. So if you key in So Lucky Nicola Griffith into Amazon Co UK, I don't know about other Amazons, the first thing you see is the Kindle edition for our edition, which is great. And then you get the American edition for the audiobook, which is fine because we haven't done an audiobook. But for the paperback, you only get the American edition. Our paperback is completely invisible on Amazon unless you key in the ISBN number. And how many customers know what an ISBN number is for a book they're quite interested in looking up? Very few. So Ingram, who are our US distributors and our Amazon wranglers, they have been trying to sort this out for weeks and weeks and weeks, and we're not getting anywhere. I've also been haggling with agents. There's a couple of books I've been working to acquire over the last 5-6 weeks, and that's been very interesting. And some agents are an absolute joy to work with, others are less joyous and harder work. But we've got there with one book, which I will announce in due course. So today I was busy scanning some sample pages to send to people to say, look, this is it. This is why I want to do it. It's so good. But good Lord, the negotiations. Luckily, this very joyous agent, this agent it was a real pleasure to deal with, was a real expert in his field. He knew exactly what he was doing. It's the ones who just do it by template and can't be bothered. They're actually a lot more work, even though he was so pernickety, pulling out things that I had never noticed in the contract that I sent out. So very educational, but a really pleasant learning experience. It was good to work with him. We had 2 new books arrive. Broster, D.K. Broster's From the Abyss and Strange Relics, edited by Amara Thornton and Katie Sower. They both arrived on a massive wooden pallet. We only get about 160 copies of those books to the office. The rest go to our warehouse. But for our books, our printer sent these boxes on a pallet sitting on top of our new ream of packing paper. Now, we love our packing paper. It's just plain white, sort of thick paper. Trouble is, this lot was an awful lot thicker than it should have been, and I think the problem was the first time we got the packing paper printed by our printers. So this is paper we wrap books in. Every time a book order comes in, I wrap it in an individual piece of paper. It's got our brand on it, and it's really pretty. So the first lot we got was really nice to work with, quite thin, much thicker than tissue paper, but you could fold it and flatten it, and it was straightforward. This new ream of packing paper is about 3 times the thickness. So I think the original lot was a mistake, and oh Lord, now I'm stuck with it. And I think it's going to add materially to the weight of a book. And that's a bit worrying when we're sending books in the post that are just a little bit under the difference in weight between a large letter and a small parcel. So if too much packing paper is used, it will tip it over and double the price of postage. That's not fun. It's also horrible to fold because it's just so thick. It's not malleable. So that is thoroughly annoying. It's a mistake nobody could have anticipated. And I'm stuck with it. I have to use it. I've got a cupboard full of the wretched stuff back there I have to use up. So please send me book orders so I can wrap your books in a really, really protective layer of super extra thick packing paper I really want to use up. We were talking to the Ilkley bookshop. There's a bookshop in Yorkshire. They got in touch around the time of the London Book Fair and said, we'd love to talk to us about setting up a special handheld shelf. So that was really nice. So hopefully they will be developing a special shelf in their bookshop, which is all of handheld books, just like Scarthin Bookshop in the Derbyshire Dales. They've done the same. I like this trend of bookshops adopting us and saying we would like to have all your books on one shelf so our customers can see all the gorgeous covers. I think this is a good thing to do. I've been doing a lot of reading of our July title, May or July, I forget which one. I'm not telling you what it is yet, but it's a collection of magazine columns from the late 60s and 1970s in women's magazines, and they're all by one woman, Betty Bendell. Those of you of a certain age might remember her. I grew up reading her as a child because my mother bought Family Circle and Good Housekeeping, and she was just the funniest writer I'd ever read at that time. And recently I really discovered her again. So I've been reading all the columns that her son-in-law have scanned and sent to me. And my criteria for including these, if the column makes me laugh out loud, it instantly goes into the shortlisted heap. Because this is going to be a funny book, a happy, happy book to make you laugh, slightly nostalgic, very interesting social commentary, so much wonderful social history from the late 60s and 70s in suburban Middle England, really. Oh, it's going to be good, so good. But if I'm feeling a bit flat and a bit tired and it's the end of the day, but I've still got another hour before I really ought to stop working, I just read some Betty Bendell and I feel so much happier because I'm laughing out loud, and that's just pleasing. It's a lovely thing to do. More Amazon. The month continued with more Amazon problems. So our Broster book, DK Broster, From the Abyss, we have an ebook, and I uploaded the ebook to the database that holds all our ebooks and files, and this was fed through to Amazon and all the other places that you can buy ebooks from. And has the ebook appeared on Amazon? It has not. The paperback is there. You can pre-order the paperback on Amazon as well as straight from us. But they're not showing the ebook, and Ingram, our distributors, are tearing their hair out trying to work out why the ebook has become invisible. If you key in the ebook's ISBN number, which is different from the paperback one, it's not there. It simply doesn't exist, and it's just a mystery. And Amazon algorithms, it's this new swear word. You may remember at the end of March, I did a talk, Women Writing War, to raise funds for the Ukrainian appeal run by the Disasters Emergency Committee in the UK. And I'm happy to say that we raised £527, and I sent the money in the middle of April once we had paid the bills to Eventbrite and PayPal had taken their cut. And that was good. So that was a good lot of money raised. I would like to do something similar again in the future, although I think we'd all like the war to end so there won't be any need for any more refugee relief. But oh God, what a dreadful situation. So we may do something similar in the near future. I'm still thinking about that. But thank you to everyone who bought a ticket. It's very much appreciated. I'm sending books to America. because once the books get printed and delivered to Milton Keynes, our warehouse here, they then get shipped to the States by boat, which is cheaper and probably more environmentally friendly than flying, hell of a lot cheaper. The books are tracked on manifests, and I noticed that 186 particular books had completely disappeared between point A and point B. So today and yesterday I was bouncing like a rubber ball between the 2 points A and B going, where are my books? Because A said, we sent them, here's the proof. And B say, they didn't send them, here's the proof. And I'm pretty sure the books are there. It's just that somebody has forgotten to count a couple of boxes. But oh gosh. And they're on a boat in the middle of the Atlantic right now. I cannot check. So the only time I will know is when they finally arrive at Jackson, Tennessee at the US warehouse, and the people there will unpack them and say, here are 186 copies of a book you haven't told us about. And I go, thank goodness for that. Here is the paperwork. And finally, I found a cover artist. This is for the Betty Bendel book. I'd found the artwork I wanted to use, but could not work out who the artist was. But in reading these wonderful scans, I've discovered more artwork by her with her name. So I located the name, and that was very exciting. And through my arty contacts and a bit of social media tracking, I worked out that she's probably a very old lady. She may even have died about 3 years ago, and there is absolutely no information whatsoever about how to find her estate. So if anybody out there knows how to find an estate or representative for Belinda Lyon, who was a terrific graphic designer and artist of the 60s and 70s, I'd like to know, and that would be great. So thank you for that, and I'll see you at the back end of May.
Want to see more from us? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to click like, subscribe, or new content alert.